Today, for sales vlog number 9, what we're going to talk about is a ripple effect. Now, it's really bright outside today, and I'm here at Haleiwa Ali'i Beach Park, and right over my shoulder is where the turtles normally hang out. Usually around lunchtime is better. But today, what I want to talk to you about is the ripple effect. And what the ripple effect is like, just like I got water behind me. If I take a pebble and I throw it in the water, it's going to push a wave out, and then it's also going to bring a wave back. And I bring this up because as salespeople struggle, one of the things that they do is they make major modifications to their sales presentation. And for every modification you make, you're going to have a change that happens over time. There's going to be something that's going to cause something else to happen. And so, you know, it's funny because I'll watch other sales trainers, I'll watch other presenters, I'll watch people who supposedly know what they're talking about, and they will use processes and not understand why they get so many objections at the end, why they get so many cancellations, because they really didn't think through the process. So, real deal, your sales process is very similar to throwing a pebble in the water, a lake, a stream, whatever. There's going to be a ripple that it creates. And so the reason why you don't want to make a bunch of changes to your sales presentation when you're struggling is because now you're going to have to chase down each one of those ripples. Now you got to figure out why you're having a problem. Now you're going to have to figure out what caused something to happen. This is why I'm a huge proponent of videotaping your sales presentation when you're on top, and also videotaping your sales presentation when you're really struggling, because then you can compare and contrast and take a look and go, hey, when I was doing really good, I was doing X, Y, and Z. And when I'm doing poorly, I'm doing A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. And it gives you the opportunity to take a look and go, okay, I see why I'm struggling. I see why I'm having a problem. But, you know, a lot of times people will hire a sales coach or a mentor or somebody, and they may not exactly know everything that they're doing. And then they're like, all right, here's what I want you to do. And they treat it like a science experiment. Like, they don't really know the answer. They don't really know what it's going to take to fix the problem. But like in their mind, they're like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to get paid. Right? It really takes a lot of thought. You know, I've been driving back and forth from Kaneohe, which is on that side of the island, over here to the North Shore. It takes me about an hour. I got my voice recorder. You know, I'm really thinking through a process. What could a buyer say if I say this? What could they say? What could I say if they say that? And I've done it enough that I could pretty much pinpoint what objections are going to be and how to handle them. But like, if somebody just thinks like, I'm going to go with old school sales strategies, I'm going to go with old school sales tactics, and then I am going to expect to go out and close a bunch of deals, like, well, wait a minute. You know, it's like 2019, 2020, and here's the thing, it's not 1950 anymore. And so what you could be doing, is, you know, especially if you're using a lot of old school sales tactics, is you're creating that ripple, and that ripple is going to come back to you as objections and rejection from the buyer. And then ultimately, you know, a lot of salespeople, they live on the discount, they live on the price match, and they really don't have a lot to offer. And it does create a lot of challenges. So just like if I'm going to go throw a big giant rock in the ocean, if it's flat, it's gonna create a ripple. And so for you, you should really be thinking through, like, if I add this to my sales presentation, what are some possibilities that the buyer is gonna say? So you make a list. And one of the ways that I really like to do this is I'll jump on the whiteboard and say, if I say this, what are some of the possibilities, and what am I going to have to do to combat that? Or what am I going to have to do to make that conversation happen? Or what am I going to do to have to avoid a conversation that I don't want to have? And without doing this, without thinking through the process or meeting with some other salespeople or getting the sales trainer involved, I see this happen a lot where someone will just say, well, I'll just throw this in. Well, it's kind of like there was a book when I was a kid where this guy had some corduroy pants and he wanted to fix them, so he ended up cutting something off of his shirt and then off of his socks and then off of his undershirt, and ultimately at the end of the day, it didn't really fix the problem, it just created more of them. So for you, trust-wise, you have to know that the person that you're working with is going to help you and not really hurt your process. Right? In the beginning, there may not be an issue, but all the way at the end, it could lead to a cancellation. It could lead to some other issues that nobody really thought of. So for you, the ripple effect becomes very important, especially when you're struggling. Especially when you're struggling, you got to work with somebody who you trust and somebody who's really going to fix the problem and not just like put you in science experiment mode where hopefully whatever they're doing is going to work. Or, you know, it worked for them, but it can't work for anybody else. Because like I see that happen a lot. Like people will say, you know, what do I got to do to make this happen? So there you go. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update that says Scott Bell Consultant sent out a video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.